Okay, I'd like to start off by, it's an honor to stand here, and thank you for taking the time, and I hope I can make it worth your while. I'd like to start by showing you two photographs. The first one is this one. This was taken during a trip I did in a truck over 4 days from Bombay to Delhi. It's me trying out a BD, don't ever try, it's horrible stuff. The second is this one, the Ferrari that I drove back from Delhi to Bombay over 12 hours. Now, 14, if you ever going to try a supercar, do it. Fantastic. 14 years separate these two pictures. And I'm going to tell you how I got from the truck to the Ferrari and some of the stuff that I learned along the way. I started off down the normal career path. I had a degree in electronic engineering. I had a secure paying, well-paying job, working as one. But somehow my heart wasn't in it. Every day I'd go to office thinking I'm serving out a prison sentence. My passion, the stuff that I like to do was travel, write, photograph, camp, outdoors. And my diary, my walking shoes, my camera was all rotting away. I mean, when I was in college and I had no money, I would travel, even though I had no money. That picture in the truck you saw, that was because I wanted to get to Delhi. I had no money. I hitched a ride in a truck. For 4 days, I lived like a trucker, squatting behind bushes, having a bath at a village handwell, eating at a dhaba. Now I was making the money and I had no time. This 9 to 5 thing was just taking up my whole life. It just didn't seem right. And one day, my whole new career came to me wrapped around a sandwich. And that, I think, was serendipity. I was about to throw this wrapper away when I realized that it actually is an old newspaper. And I read, there was an advertisement on it inviting experienced journalists to apply for various jobs in a soon to be launched automobile magazine. I ended up throwing the sandwich away and I rushed and I applied for the job, even though I had no experience in writing or a journalism degree. I got called for the interview, and I also got hired based more on my enthusiasm than on my experience. But, there's always a but, I had to take a cut in my salary and I had to move to a different city. Now, all my well-wishers, Arre, Bapre, what are you doing? No, you can't do this. It's a well-paying, secure job with such good future prospects and you want to throw it away and go and chase some hobbies. And my mind also told me the silly thing to do, but my heart told me that I should go and do it because I thought that, passion should drive a career more than the lust for money. So I took this job up. I started writing travel stories based on my previous travel experiences for this magazine. I got poached by another magazine which actually wanted me to go out, travel every month and come back and write about it. And that was a sort of dream job. But then I started getting invited to countries abroad who wanted me to come to their countries, drive over there and come back and write about it in the Indian media. And this was beyond the scope of this automobile magazine, so I quit. I completely gave up the convenience of a fixed income and I went freelance. Now that was a risk I took, but looking back now, I'm glad I did it. I might have been a little more richer then, but I'm happier, I'm healthier, and I'm also richer in experiences. In fact, I often think back on those days when I used to work in the engineering office, the dreary days. I would think that, oh my God, today I'm wearing a nice strong tie. Maybe I'll use this tie to hang myself from the ceiling today. And now for me, a normal day at work looks something like this. This is all what I'm going to show you is all work, nothing, no holidays, it's all a day in the office. Okay, this is skydiving in New Zealand. This is putting on chains on a car in Himachal Pradesh. This is making friends with the elephant in South Africa. River rafting, testing out a new car in the Himalaya. Photographing some kangaroos in Australia. Making friends with some children on the Chandrakhani Pass. Making friends with some ostriches. This is making tea on a mountain pass in Kashmir. Milking a cow. Work, I swear, all work. This is driving a Ferrari in Bavaria. This is flying an XL over Mysore. This is meeting Santa Claus in Lapland. Being caught for speeding in Mexico. Trying out a new car in Napa, California. Now I'm going to tell you a few experiences and what I've learned from them. I was once diving in the South Pacific. To cut a long story short, that whole day went horribly wrong. I was 60 feet underwater inside the engine room of a wreck when my air started running out. Then I panicked. So I had to come up to the surface. Now I was supposed to come up very slowly, but I was so scared that I came straight to the top and I passed out because I came up too fast. When I came to, I realized that something was pecking my face. Like my first reaction was, oh my god, I'm going to be eaten alive. Actually, there were dolphins and they were trying to revive me. So I came to my senses, I stopped over my stomach and started swimming back to my boat, which was 200 meters out. And these dolphins, they stayed with me. Two of them would go flanking out like this. I got it. Two of them got flanking out like that, and two of them would always stay close to me. I got to my boat and I climbed in and looked back. They were already bounding out to sea. So I asked the skipper that what was happening. He said there was most certainly a shark in the water, and these dolphins just came. They saved your life and they carried on with their lives. I mean, for me, it was a heartwarming moment. It was like a random act of kindness. And I've come across these kind of random act of kindness through my travels. Once I had lost my wallet in the middle of France on a snow-capped mountain. This woman skiing found it. She could have easily just thrown it aside. She took it. She found out whose wallet it is. Went through a lot of trouble to get it back to me. My camera has fallen off my motorcycle once while riding back from Goa. Again, this poor village boy found it. He went to a cyber cafe. He looked up my name, found me on Facebook, matched the photograph from my camera on the funds on Facebook, messaged me and had my camera back to me. You know, in the concluding speech of the great dictator, Charlie Chaplin says that we all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. And the more I travel, the more I find truth in those words. This next experience I want to talk to you about is about two men I've met through my travels and through my work that have really influenced me. When I was in my late 20s, one of my biggest dreams was to ride my motorcycle from Bombay to London. I mean, I haven't done it yet. I still have my bike. One day I'll do it. But I started reading a lot about these great overland journeys. And one of the books I came across was this one, One Man Caravan by Robert Edison Fulton. It was about this 23-year-old American who was studying architecture in Vienna in 1932, and he went around the world on a motorcycle. He rode he started off from Europe, across Southeast Asia, went through the Middle East, through Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, down the Khyber Pass, into India, stayed in Bombay, rode across to Calcutta, then across Southeast Asia, arrived in San Francisco and rode home to New York. 64,000 kilometers in 18 months. The book was such a phenomenal read that I wrote to the publisher, White House Press, telling them that if the man is still alive, he must have been about 90 years old. Please forward my letter to him. And you can imagine my surprise and my delight when in October 2000 I get this letter. It is from this man who has ridden around the world in 1932 before my grandparents were married. Is writing a letter to me, and I communicated with him a few times, and that is about the time when I'm picking up, trying to make up my mind whether I should work as an engineer and just chase prospects of big money, or whether I should go and do what my heart wants me to do, travel, write and all that. And my communication with him really helped me, because it helped me make up my mind. It inspired me. It told me that if you have a dream, chase it, hunt it down. This is the time. Don't let it go. Just go after it, because definitely when you're old and frail and you look back, you say, damn, I wish I'd done it that time. You know what the Buddha says, that the problem is you think you have the time. When you don't, our lives are just a blink of an eye and it'll be gone. And then you wouldn't want to start traveling when the only place you can go is where you have wheelchair access. You don't want to do that. You want to do it now when you can really, you have strength in your limbs. Anyway, so 10 years later, I was in Mexico driving the SLS AMG. Phenomenal car. It was one of the fastest days in my life. I mean, I've never driven faster ever, and it was so crazy that it was a great day. And honestly, and the reason why they had this drive over here in Mexico was because 10 years, I mean, in 1952, the predecessor of this car, the SL300, had won its greatest race over here in 1952. A race called the Carrera Panamericana. And during that race, one of the race car drivers was John Cooper Fitch, this man in the very fancy pants, tall man. Yeah. So I read about the race because of his story. I read about the race, the history, the man, and I realized that John Cooper Fitch, before racing alongside the Germans in 1950s and the 60s, he was a fighter pilot during the Second World War and used to shoot Germans out of the sky. He himself he had been shot down and spent a few months in a prisoner of war camp, a German prisoner of war camp. So for me, I had grown up reading about people like these, World War II heroes and fighter pilots and planes and dogfights. For me, Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, they're not heroes. Anyway, so you can imagine my surprise and delight again when I walk into the gala dinner that evening and I find John Cooper Fitch standing over there. He is 93 years old and he's standing there tall, erect, without a walking stick or anything like that. His handshake is as firm as oak. When I shake his hand, I wince, and I've got big hands. And he's walking around talking to journalists whose parents were probably born when he was shooting down Luftwaffe flying planes over Nazi Europe. I remember reading that he had once shot down the Messerschmitt 262, the Schwalbe, which was the meanest fighter jet ever, the jet fighter that the Germans had built. And he had shot it down on November 18, 1944, the day my mother was born. So I go and start talking to him because, this guy is a hero here. So I'm talking about travel and places and I realize he's a great traveler, cars and dogfights and races. And I asked him that, Mr. Fitch, what is it that keeps you going at 93 when people are ready to put up their legs and die? You're planning your next travel. What is it that keeps you going? I remember what he told me, it still has stayed with me. He says that I drive fast cars and I have fidgety feet. Fidgety feet, that means I'm always planning my next travel. And it is a fact, travel is a workout for your body and your mind, and it definitely retards your aging process. And fast cars, I don't know how to explain to you what it means to drive a fast car on a good road here. How would you say it? It's like being given a shot of eternity intravenously, straight into your bloodstream. It's such a buzz. Anyway, so I'm talking to him over dessert, and I happen to mention this Robert Fulton Edison, the man whom I'd written to all those years back, and he drops his spoon. And I look at him, there are tears in his eyes, and he grasps my hand again very hard. So, and I said, what happened? He said, Robert Fulton Edison Fulton? He says, I said, yeah, I used to write to him a couple of years back. He said, he was my best friend. We used to fly together all the time. He died in 2004 and I miss him terribly. He was my best friend. Imagine these men here. You and I would say, get your motorcycle, we'll meet at the street corner, let's go for a ride. This guy says, get your plane, I'll meet you 30,000 feet over. And we go for a flight. Anyway, for me, that was not serendipity or small world or coincidence. It was an absolute moment. To make a man who has seen everything in life, a man of 93, move him to tears of joy was a moment. Finally, I'd like to tell you something personal about how travel has helped me. When I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. It's a neurological condition that makes me want to shake my head or make funny sounds or twitch or stuff like that. But the most embarrassing aspect of it is that it makes me want to, sometimes gives me these urges to say stuff I'm not supposed to say. And it doesn't have to be necessarily swear words, it can be a racist remark, and I'm not a racist person. It could also be something like wanting to shout a bomb inside a plane when there's no bomb in the plane, and even if there is, I don't know that there's a bomb in the plane. So when I was in school, I used to always think I had a disability, I was inferior to people, and I would have to live a life compromised. And this engineering job was fantastic for me because I would go to the same people, same close environment, and I was in my comfort zone. But travel made me step out of my comfort zone. It made me look Tourette's in the eye and stare it down. It expanded my horizons, increased my knowledge, and made me a good conversationalist. It made me, the stories that I wrote and the picture that I took won acclaim, and that gave me a lot of self-confidence. If it wasn't for travel, there is no way I could have stood in front of all you fine people and spoken like this today. And when I was growing up, and now I certainly don't live a life compromised, I think I live life at 200%. Anyway, when I was growing up, Tourette's used to be a demon that used to terrorize me. Today it's a small puppy. It follows me everywhere. Sometimes it misbehaves, but I can easily call it to heel. And that is the greatest joy that travel has given me. I'd like to end by showing you a little video. My work has evolved through the years. It has gone from writing into newspapers and magazines to blogs, and now it has gone to video blogs. So this is a small clip of the blogs I've been making, and it's a small compilation. It's 1.5 minutes. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.